I still hear her voice at night. Don't cry. It will be over soon. She said that just before she took the baby and vanished. And when we found her, the baby was already dead. But that wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part was that the baby's body wasn't alone. My name is Chika, and this story happened when I went to stay with my aunt in Umuozu, a small village in eastern Nigeria. I was 17, just out of secondary school, and my aunt wanted me to help her sell things at her chemist shop during the holiday. Umuozu was quiet, surrounded by thick trees and dusty red roads. People there knew each other well, and everyone greeted with Nno or Kidu. Nothing ever seemed strange, until the nurse came. The village clinic was a small building with 2 rooms, a wooden bench outside, and one old matron, Mama Agnes. She was kind and slow-moving, and everyone trusted her. But one day, she fell sick and had to travel to see her son in Enugu. That was when Nurse Abia arrived. She was young, tall, and had skin as pale as someone who didn't spend time in the sun. Her eyes were sharp, her voice too soft. She said the government sent her as a temporary replacement. She wore white uniforms every day, even on weekends. Always clean, always pressed. At first, the villagers were happy. They liked her neatness. But something about her made me uncomfortable. She smiled too much, like someone pretending to be normal. Her eyes never matched the smile on her lips. But I didn't say anything. After all, who would believe a teenager? 3 nights after she arrived, I heard noises from the clinic. It was around 1 a.m., and I couldn't sleep because the heat was too much. My aunt's shop was close to the clinic, so I looked outside through the window. There was a dim light in the clinic. Then I saw Nurse Abia walk outside, holding something wrapped in white cloth. It was small, like a baby. She walked into the bush behind the clinic, without a torchlight, without any fear. I stayed by the window, watching and waiting. She didn't come out for over an hour. I told my aunt the next morning. She slapped the back of my head and said I should stop making up stories. So I kept quiet. A few days later, a woman came crying to the village square. Her baby, just 5 days old, had disappeared from the clinic in the middle of the night. She had left the baby there because the child had fever, and the nurse said she would monitor the baby overnight. But by morning, the baby was gone. Nurse Abia said the mother must have taken the baby and forgotten. Or maybe a thief entered through the back window. She blamed the mother's carelessness. People believed her. I didn't. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something bad was happening. So one night, I waited behind the chemist shop. I had a small rechargeable torch and my aunt's old Nokia phone. At around midnight, I saw her again. Nurse Abia. She carried another baby. This time, the baby looked lifeless. She didn't look left or right. She just walked behind the clinic and entered the bush again. I followed her. My heart was beating fast, but I forced my legs to move. The bush path was narrow and dark, filled with crickets and mosquitoes. After about 15 minutes, she reached a small clearing. There was a circle of stones on the ground and something that looked like a clay pot in the middle. I hid behind a tree and watched. She started chanting in a strange language, not Igbo, not English. Then she placed the baby inside the pot. A thick, red smoke started coming out of the pot. The leaves around the pot began to shake, though there was no wind. I almost screamed when I saw a second figure rise from the other side of the clearing. It was not human. Tall, thin, with glowing red eyes. Nurse Abia bowed. The thing nodded. I ran. I didn't sleep that night. I was sweating and shaking. The next morning, I told my aunt. She looked scared but said I must never repeat what I said to anyone. She made me swear. That week, 2 more babies went missing. All of them had been admitted to the clinic overnight. And each time, Nurse Abia had the same answer. Maybe the mothers came to take them and left early. But the mothers were crying. They hadn't taken their children. The village chief said they would investigate, but no one wanted to accuse a government worker, especially one who looked so clean and spoke so well. I had made up my mind. I had to get proof. So one night, I sneaked out with my phone and followed her again. I hid close to the clearing and pressed record. Just like before, she brought the baby. Just like before, the pot began to smoke. But this time, I saw what came out of the pot, a second baby. But this one looked wrong. It had black eyes and sharp fingernails. It cried like a cat being strangled. Nurse Abir held it and smiled. "Another one for the collection," she said. Then she looked straight in my direction. "I know you're watching, Chica," she whispered. I froze. She started walking toward me, the devil baby in her arms. I turned and ran. I didn't go home. I ran to the church compound and started shouting. Father Ikenna, the old village priest, came out and listened. I showed him the video. He took me inside and locked the door. By morning, he called the village chief and elders. They confronted Nurse Abir at the clinic. She denied everything. But when they searched the back of the clinic, they found a hidden trapdoor. Under it was a small cellar, filled with clay pots, each one sealed shut, with names written on the lids. Some of the names matched the missing babies. One pot was broken. Inside it, they found small bones and black feathers. Nurse Abir screamed and began to speak in tongues none of us had heard. Her eyes turned black. The elders held her down and started praying. She laughed, coughed blood, and fainted. When she woke up, she was no longer the same. The government came a few days later. They took her away. They told the news that she was mentally ill and needed treatment. They said the villagers exaggerated the story. But those who saw what I saw knew the truth. The bush clearing was burned. The pots were buried. And every year since then, one baby in the village still goes missing. Always in the same week Nurse Abir arrived. We don't know if it's her. But late at night, I sometimes hear that voice in my dreams. SHHH. Don't cry. It will be over soon. End.